the decided match? Will it be Stats for the rematch? Will it be Dark for a chance to go into the round of 4? Let's find out. That's the bottom right hand side of the map. Our purple Zerg player is Dark. Top left hand side, the yellow Protoss from Splice. Give it up if you're cheering on Stats. Alright then, setting up into this, looking to see how things will go. Looking to see what is going to happen over the next few minutes of this game. Build-up time in PvZ is probably one of the largest. And I feel like I always felt this back in Heart of the Swarm. PvZ was my most hated matchup due to the fact that it did take so long to really have anything going. We'll see how it feels here on the 6-worker start between two of the great Stats and Dark. Obviously this year they've played a few times, most memorably I think in the IEM Katowice semi-finals, where it really was one of the kind of highlights, I would say, of IEM Katowice. What an insane series that was. 5 games between the very best, going the way of Stats in the end. That was some real crazy ZvP. Let's hope for something just as fun today as we have Dark already spraying a diva on the map apparently. Cheeky. Yeah, just set up and wait to see what happens. Again, it'll be a little bit slow here early. Again, generally the 6-worker start, when we do talk about the negatives of it, it does keep coming back to the fact that if it is just going to be a fairly straight up standard macro game, it will just take a little bit longer to set up into, a little bit longer to get up into that position where, you know, players are ready to make moves, to have their tech ready, to have their initial upgrades done. It does take a little longer to get to that stage, but again, that's the trip. That's the payoff, right? You have variety, or you have this kind of, little bit of downtime. It's a weird one. By the way, these probes, do normal probes look like this when they mine? They're like little top opens. Is that the normal way? Is that just on this skin, or is it just these probes? I didn't even realize that. There's no way normal probes mine like that. There's no way that happens on the normal probe skin, right? There's no way. I've been casting StarCraft for 6 years, and this is the first time I've realized the probes have a little thing that moves back when they start mining. Surely not. Maybe it is. Nah, no way. No way have I never noticed that ever. That'd be crazy. It's cool though. I like it. Cool to see all the players using these different skins for the units which they've unlocked through the war chest, of course. Where the war chest is something which is available now in game, where you can basically level it up and unlock new skins, emotes, and all some other bits and pieces. That's free. Oh my god, it's 3:30 into. Oh my god, I'm dying. It's free. Okay, I was about to say, is at 3:30 into this game, we do see the first Adept shading in and try and do some little bits and pieces of damage. And is able now to just about escape over towards the center of the map as we see a couple more drones on the way out. And yeah, natural finished up from Stats. So far, so good. We've seen the Stargate come down here. Looks to be a fairly standard opening from our Protoss player. He's just going to invest into the Stargate, the Oracle, set himself up to open a little bit aggressively in the game. Obviously, the Oracle is one of the more macro-based openings, though. It gives you information, it allows you to harass a little bit while just setting up your own bases as the game continues on. And talking about new bases, Dark taking his third hatchery now as well. And again, just a fairly slow first 5 minutes of this game. A Voidry on the way from Stats as well to start chasing away these Overlords, I imagine. You often see Oracle, Phoenix, Oracle. And actually he's going to cancel the Voidry and make a Phoenix instead. So Phoenix push back the Overlords. Then the potential for a second Oracle there as well to really make up this little harassment hit squad, which can give you so much map control too through the usage of those revelations. First Oracle doesn't do a lot. Queen is in position to push this away, and the lair now coming on down. Dark just setting himself up for the next stage of this game, just getting his tech rolling, just getting things ready, and just looking to see how we are going to be continuing. See how he's going to play, of course, will be interesting as we see the Oracle. Going to come through and put down a Stasis Ward, and we are going to see that Stasis Ward will be good to capture all of those drones and an Overlord. Currently building in these eggs, so while he actually catches the Queen as well. And you know, the funny thing about Queen is it doesn't build energy while it's currently caught in a stasis, and so not being able to build energy in this stasis does actually then delay the next inject, and that is very interesting as well. Obviously, that kind of creates a whole new dynamic to kind of the damage you can do. So caught one drone, a whole bunch of drones building, an Overlord building, and the Queen delayed an inject. And it's a really nice Oracle so far from Dark. So you do see stats. Well, he's making a second Oracle and he's making more Stargates. We're going to see that Oracle playstyle, which has become more and more popular as of late. We've been seeing a whole bunch of this, actually. Multiple Stargates have been coming on down time after time again, with lots and lots of Oracles early game to then build into kind of a Sky Tossy sort of composition. So we'll see how Dark deals with this. Hydra's on the way up. Generally, one of the better ways to deal with it is kind of still just go Hydra Bane, maybe add a few extra Queens in as well to help. And just really don't trade badly initially. I mean, obviously that's kind of the point of every game, but if you start losing Hydras to Oracles, the next thing you know, you're going to have basically no, you're going to have no way to actually ever deal with that fleet of Oracles at all. So, I was going to see the Queen pushing back this Phoenix. And you see the third Nexus coming up from stats as well. Nothing too crazy from him still, just very much so in this build-up phase of the game, number 1. Feelings coming in, they're going to be able to nibble away at a probe there momentarily. Don't actually pick up a kill though, and again, Hydra's just on the way out from Dark, who, back at home, not stretching himself too thinly, not pushed up towards the 4th base just yet, but it's probably coming, especially as his creep starts to expand up in that direction. Again, these Oracles moving out through the center and seeing what they can do. Obviously, again, I mean, they're looking for damage, right? And right now, they're also looking to maybe try and catch Dark off guard, who hasn't seen all these Oracles, who hasn't seen triple Stargate. So here we go, going to fly into the main base. 5 Oracles, they will kill this Queen super quick, but more importantly, they'll get rid of that Spore Crawler super quickly. And as the Spore Crawler goes down, the Queen will die in just 2 shots. But here come the Hydras, and Stats already losing one of his Oracles there. This is a good turnaround by Dark, good defense, and Queen, an Oracle, maybe a drone and a Hydra going down. But he gets an Oracle in return, and that's nice. And he is going to, of course, now know what's up as well. I actually love this. The Spire coming down. I wonder if he builds some Mutas. I wonder if he builds some Mutas and the or Corruptors. You know, it's funny because I've not actually seen this as a response here. And obviously the issue is if you build Mutas, then all of a sudden Phoenix get built out of triple Stargate and they're going to be able to counter them. But if you can hide the Mutas until you're on top of the Oracles, perhaps. Well, let's see how this is going to go. Let's see how this is going to turn out. And so now the Oracles of Stats heading down to the south side once again. I mean, Stats hasn't picked up that much information just yet with these, because the Lurky Den comes down in the back of the natural expansion of the Spires over towards the 3rd base. The Oracles just gather into the side of the main. Spire finish, what's the choice? Just Corruptors. Makes a bit more sense, because again, if you're going to end up making Phoenix, it becomes a big problem. You know, if you make Mutas, then the Phoenix become a big problem very quickly. As we're going to be seeing the Queen and the Hydras here. Good defense again. 2 Oracles going down. Just everything in position and Stats just treading a bit too far forwards, considering the situation he was in. 7 Corruptors on the way up is a large number. As this Hatchery on the 4th base just sat. All of these Oracles going to back away towards the upper left-hand side. A few of these Zerglings from Dark maybe looking around, looking for a chance to harass, but so far Stats has all the kind of holes in the walls plugged up, and he's not going to give Dark an opportunity to really deal damage here at all so far. And a couple of things going down. Mass Oracle has indeed become a part of the meta in the last month or so. Very much so since DreamHack Valencia, WCS Valencia, so within the last month. I mean, WCS Valencia was not even 1 month ago, and that's where Haas went for this Mass Oracle stuff, and players have taken it and kind of refined it a little bit, and now it's being used in GSL, SSL. It's been used all over the place. And that's very much so become one of the meta openings for the Protoss player. And obviously from this you have a few different options. You can go into a ground-based army, or you can play Sky Toss. Odyssey, not really the best maps to play Sky Toss on. It's not an easy map to defend multiple bases on while you build up that carrier count. And so this game really is very much so now going to be about just the Grand Army, and we do see Falcons will be morphed in with the +1 charge lots and Immortals. And I guess you might see a Storm coming in the near future as well, as we see a push forwards here. Out of our Zerg player, only Lings and Hydras with Lurkers as well, and Corruptors too, I guess. Okay, quite a few different units, but it's not Ling being Hydra. It's Lings and Hydras, and then some support from Lurkers and from the Corruptors who are actually chasing down the Oracles. I mean, that is kind of their job. I'm a little bit worried actually right now for Stats, who does have all of his Oracles out of position. He might be able to do a lot of damage with this, but is it going to make up for all the damage that's going to get done by Dark, who's currently across the map here and starting to do quite a lot because these two Immortals are going to get caught right away. The Zealots can't push up into these Lurkers, especially if the Immortals are being turned back. Meanwhile, the Oracles haven't done anything just yet. Have they even activated their Pulsar Beam? Well, here we go. They're going to start working their way through a couple of Spore Crawlers, but as they kill the Spores, they don't get any drones, and the Corruptors are already here working their way against them. Lurkers keep on pushing forwards, and Overcharge pops just as the pylon goes down. Now the Mothership Core is dead. And as the Observers to allow him to actually maybe be able to see these Lurkers, as Stats maybe thinking about actually taking this fight. Oracles are coming back to fight this as well, but he's already fighting with the Zealots, and they're just going to get massacred, meaning there's only going to be Hydras here for the Oracles to fight, and if the Hydras can just focus down the Oracles, they should be able to get rid of a good number of them. As the Oracles, I mean, they will run out here, but the Corruptors on the way over to keep fighting them, and the Oracles out of energy anyways to continue cleaning this up. As we're going to be seeing now, the Corruptors will just get rid of what is kind of just a dead weight in the air. Low energy Oracles are not going to be able to do much more, and with that, Dark will end up taking game 1 of this best of 3. We hop into the bottom right hand side of the map. Our purple Zerg player is going to be Dark. Up a game in this best of 3 series against his Protoss opponent here to the top left hand side. It is Splice Stats. Down 1-0 on the verge of being knocked out after he did lose out to Zest already earlier today. Dark losing out to Gumiho, who has now advanced out of this group. Zest awaits in the decider match. And I wouldn't want to play against Zest right now. He's been looking kind of hot lately, and he's also been playing kind of aggressively and crazy today. He's shown us he can win any kind of game, from proxy gates to macro games. He's been showing us everything. So Stats or Dark, whoever plays him, I'm a little bit worried. I'm feeling Zest right now. Again, how are we all doing in the chat, guys? Thank you very much for joining us here today. Thank you for tuning into the stream, of course. I am Wardy, just in case you somehow don't know. As we have the early pull from Dark, by the way, as well. I probably should have mentioned this. This is a very early pull out of him. So we are going to be seeing some Zerglings moving across the map, looking to get aggressive in the early stages. Dark, let's see what he can get up to. Obviously he needs to do some damage, but Stats, with the early probe scout, has seen it, and so he's already committing into a Cybernetics core. However, well, this pylon might take some damage. The Zealot here to try and help protect. By the time this pylon goes down, another pylon is up. It's not really going to be that much of an issue, as the Lings are going to be trying to do a little bit more to break in, but it doesn't look as though Dark is going to be able to do too much here. And unfortunately for Stats, unfortunately for Dark, that means he is going to be playing this one a little bit behind. Now, Stats will have delayed his Nexus, sure. And actually, the Zerglings might still break in, but there's a pylon going to come in behind this as well, so it's another wall. Dark kills a pylon for his efforts, but down 6 workers. Has it really been worth it so far? I don't think so just yet. Another Overlord on the way out, and as drones just get to work on this mineral line, we see a hatchery from Dark is going to be finishing up. Again, playing just still a little bit slow here, Dark. Just going to be playing a little bit of catch-up. I mean, what can you say? You commit to the early pool, and if it gets scouted, if it gets reacted to, you end up in this position, which really kind of gives you a nice little kind of position to play for. It doesn't. It does. If it works, it does well. If it doesn't, then all of a sudden, you gotta really kind of work hard to make it happen. And I mean, Dark, he's not gonna be happy with this. So Stats, it'll be good. He'll be happy with how this is going, and now he can go from here and see what else he can do. As this Adept just moving forward, is going to shade back a little bit. The Ling's going to come in and try and get us around. Adept does shade away back in towards the center of the map here. Probes continuing to come on up. And Twilight Council are going to get thrown down next to this main base. So Twilight Council coming on in. It's going to be the first real set choice of Stats here in game number 2. A game where, again, I feel for him, if he goes into Glaives and Adepts, it really is one of those games where Dark will just never have a chance to realistically respond correctly, play catch-up at all, because by the time he's finally starting to catch up on workers, he'll be forced into more units to defend the adepts, and if he doesn't make the units, he starts to fall very far behind to the fact that, well, if he doesn't make the units, he falls behind to the fact that the adepts will kill him. So it's a tough one to figure out. Where does Dark go from here? Glabe's on the way up then from stats. We'll see how much he commits to this attack overall. The one thing that's very interesting from stats is that he never got aggressive with the 2 Zealots and an Adept. After an attack like this, you oftentimes can do to force more units out. Maybe just a little bit afraid of what Dark had planned as a follow-up, maybe. Just didn't feel as though that opportunity was there this time around for some reason. But that is sometimes something you see. It's sometimes very powerful because, again, like these 6 or 8 lings are already out on the map aren't actually enough to fight an Adept and 2 Zealots. So you do have to then make a little bit more, and that's even less drones you have to then try and catch on up with, you know? It's going to be seeing the robo facility is about halfway done. More probes on the way out. That Twilight Council just halfway done on the Resonating Glaze. With the robo facility coming up as well, looks as though we are going to see that Warp Prism coming into play in the next few moments. Evo Tron, Lair, and an Evo Chamber from Dark. I mean, he's playing a very standard way to play against these Adepts, but are they going to be even here in time, these Roaches? I guess so. Considering the fact we don't have Adepts across the map just yet, the Warp Prism only just starting, it looks as though the Roaches will be probably out in time. I mean, there's 5 Adepts here already. I think 5 Adepts are dealable with 4 Queens and a bunch of Lings. He's making small Lings as well. But it's exactly what we just talked about, where now Dark is in this position where he only has 39 drones. He only has 39 drones. And so because of that, he isn't able to really play a macro game, but he has to make more units so he doesn't die to these Adepts. And Stats just says, okay, I'm not going to overcommit to this at all either. I'm just going to throw down Templar Archives and just keep teching up in all of this. He's on 4 gates, so sure, he can apply some pressure, but with the Templar Archives, he's really looking to just continue to mac Rebel. Although no 3rd Nexus, so maybe he just wants to morph in a couple of Archons and just harass with those. That is a possibility here. A lot Stats can do, the game very much so in his hands, as Dark for the first time in a long time is about to just about sneak ahead in terms of worker count. And again, as a Zerg player, that's definitely not the sort of position you want to be playing from. He is 1-0 up though, so he can definitely afford to kind of get away with trying this aggression 8 triad and failed with, and then sort of coming back from game 3. But it does put it all on the line into that 3rd game, as we just have the gates continue to build up. So this is just going to be an all enough 2 bases. And it is just going to be aggression out of Stats. It was kind of a weird one because he was building that Templar Archives. It's kind of weird to see Immortals and a Templar Archives and all 8 gates. Obviously just wants to go for kind of Immortal Archon and then reinforcement gateway units to kind of all in with. I guess it's kind of given away by the lack of a 3rd Nexus, right? But sometimes you never know if these pros players. And it is a bit weird with the kind of the 6 worker start as well. Players are playing a little bit differently. And as we see the Blood pushed away to the left side. And there's a 3rd Nexus again thrown down. Pylon as well. Meanwhile, Dark is trying to hide a Spire away to the far right side of the map, so he's going to try and do something a little bit crazy here to get himself back into this game. A lot of sentries warping in, Changeling checking around, ensure the 3rd Nexus is building, but there is not any probes being built. As Stats in a prime position to get across this map and to get damage done. He's on full 2 base saturation. He's got 2 Immortals, about to be 3. Meanwhile, the Prism across the map has been doing some bits and pieces with an Archon. Not too much dealt though. Just being annoying, forcing these Roaches to keep moving around, keeping Dark very much so on a fairly low work account. If Mia's on the way out, this Prism does have to be careful. Lose the Prism, he might run into some issue with the rest of that Protoss army coming, with the rest of the Protoss army coming across the map. You want the Prism alive to keep reinforcing. Gotta be a little bit careful. He actually does find the Spire over here, Stats. So that's going to be something he can play against now. As we're going to be seeing, well, these units coming in to push this Archon and a couple of Adepts that just walked in back. He will not be able to defend the Spire though. Fortunately, he's already got the 5 meters up, and he is actually going to send those across the map to the left-hand side. So he's going to run over to the far left. And also going to be seeing Stats continue to push down the right and look to see just what else is going to happen. A couple of Crows of Bars coming down once again. You see this Hatchery taking a little bit more damage also. I'm just going to be seeing the Lings, Roaches, and a couple of Ravagers throwing Bars down. And just be seeing this Hatchery does indeed fall, and this is looking pretty good for Stats so far. I mean, Dark already put down 2 bases across the map. Stalkers warp in. It's not a scary number of Mutalisks by any stretch of the imagination, so those Stalkers alone are going to be enough. Some Queens of Transfuses will go a long way as the double Guardian Shield to protect the entirety of this army from this Roach Ravager force. Triple Immortal is just so powerful against what is so many Roaches in the front. And these Immortals will be racking up the kills. 7 on one, 2 on another. The final one has 6. As Dark will push this back for a moment or so. But for how long overall, as you see these Adepts going to warp in, and it is just going to be too much here. I think Stats will move on through this army rather swiftly as these Roaches continue to drop on down. Only Ravagers and Queens left now, and those units do not really tend to do so well when the Roaches aren't there in front to do the tanking. A few Stalkers warping as well as the Mutas come back, so you will have some form of anti-air. The Mutas will try and aim themselves onto the Warp Prism. So as the Stalkers are here, the Warp Prism will actually go down the Warp Prism. Okay, Dark's actually starting to push this back a little bit, but he's still only on 2 bases, and in the end he still actually loses out. GG is called, and Stats will take it. 1 game apiece now. Right hand side of the map at Purple Zerg, it is going to be Dark. Dropping that last game to the early pool. And to the top left, Yellow Protoss player. Splice Stats. How did I get Koreans to play at 5 AM? I didn't. OGaming sorted all of this out, and we are casting from replays as they played these games earlier today. So these games just a few hours old, and they are fresh. Nobody knows the results, not even the casters. Only a single admin and the players know these results. So it's pretty much like watching it live, really. Though some people will still get triggered by the fact it's replays. It always amazes me that some people really just can't get past the fact it's replays sometimes. It's like they're watching like a tournament for a while. This happens a lot when I cast like certain tournaments from replays or something. I'll be casting from replays, and someone will be in chat and they'll be watching, and I've seen them chatting along. After like a couple of series or something, I mention it's like replays today, and all of a sudden this guy who's been happily watching replays is suddenly like, oh my god, what a scam, I cannot believe it, this tournament is terrible, who would cast anything from replays, bye, I'm gone, leaves. Like, it actually does happen, like a surprising amount, like honestly it really does. It's it happens more than you really think it would, like, I don't know. It's crazy. When there's no results, it doesn't matter if it's not live. Exactly. And what really gets me, anyways, is okay. Sometimes it's like people are like, I just like the aspect of it being live. But at the same time, like sometimes people are watching it and they just have no idea it isn't live. And then when they find out it's replays, then they get mad. It's really funny. It's dumb. What a scam, I can't believe it. This tournament with top tier players is awful. I know, right? Absolutely disgraceful. Anyways, guys, we do see the proxy hatchery from Dark, as I'm showing you guys on the screen. So we'll see what he wants to do with this. As Stats comes across, you'll see the gas pool time in his kind of hatch gas pool. But where's the hatchery? That's what Stats is going to be starting to ask himself here. And he will continue to scout around and look to see what else will happen. Stats Nex is about to finish on up. As we just set up into this, and yeah, just gonna see Rotron dropping down from Dark. I mean, a proxy hatchery here, and Stats does see it as well. So Stats sees this, and the aggression of Dark so far is continuing to be figured out. So Stats figuring out what's going on here early. Obviously, that's a pretty big deal. As we do see the Cybernex core going to be finishing up in just a few moments' time. For Rotron, about 75% of the way done. There's a couple of Lings going to run forwards. This Zealot swipes away at a Zergling. And we're just going to be seeing the couple of Lings just going to run in and just going to start nibbling away at a few of these probes. Stats had to have known it was proxy hatch the second the probe strolled into the main. I mean, it could have been a hatchery over here, right? That's the one thing that I think he could have been instead of the hatchery over here. But I mean, yeah, I mean, he figures it out pretty quick, right? Like, all he has to do is check anyways, and then he's completely fine, he's found it. So far so good for Stats, as this first Overlord in trouble as well. Now, roaches are about to start popping out, and they are going to be able to maybe turn the Stalker away, but not before the Overlord falls. Dark hits the supply block. Ravagers have arrived. Let's see what Stats can do. Robo Facility on the way up, but not ready just yet. Queen coming in as well to push that Mothership core back. And I think Stats might have to just give up this initial gateway. He's not going to do without a fight, though, not just yet. But man, look at the damage output of those Ravagers. They do so much, and with that range, they can kite for days and days and days. Obviously, Biles as well can land on that pylon. And that's going to unpower this Warp Gate in just a few moments with this gateway. Warp Gate research not even started yet from Stats. He's not going to invest money into that just now. We're going to be seeing these two Stalkers and the Zealot still here towards the front. As do you see the Ravagers continue to try and fight this? Zealot taking another hit or two there as well. Jim is still pushing on forwards. Another corrosive ball coming down. Mothership core still dodging away at moments in time. He's finding some opportunities to get away. Still has to back away once more here, Dark. I mean, it's obviously very much so kind of a back and forth battle. You can see that Stats has so many units on low HP, which have just shields regenerating. This pylon's going to go down, but not before another Stalker comes out. Every single unit will help right now. What does Stats have in the main? He does have another gateway. And Cybercore still something. He actually had another pylon. Sorry, I thought this gateway was unpowered, but I mean, at the same time, this pylon's not going to last forever either. I think the gateway itself is not going to last forever. The Immortal will do a lot here to help out, though. Nice chance for you to keep one Ravager alive. One Immortal will get the kill on the Ravager now, though. Do we just see another Immortal from Stats? I think so. A little bit of a supply block has slowed him down for a while here, but there's the next Immortal starting on up. Still back and forth between the players here as Dark continue pressure. That's a nice overcharge because it actually ends up in him getting another Immortal, another Ravager kill. And it actually does buy him some time, despite the fact that this pylon is going to die super soon. Love the fact that Stats keeps building new pylons in the back as well, so he has other overcharges to fall back towards. The Cybercore will be in trouble now, though, and he knows Stats that this time has been coming. He'll know that this has been kind of something that's been kind of setting up for a long time, but he can just build a new Cybercore. Just he doesn't want to yet, because he doesn't have much need. You know, he doesn't want to waste money before he has it. You know, or earlier than he has to. Cybercore now taking some real hits. Maybe now it's time to think about that. So we'll see these Immortals will help chew through the few Roaches, which take the lead in front of these Ravagers. More Biles as well. Immortals have to back away. Immortals so far very important. I mean, picking up a lot of damage. There's that Cybercore. Building a little bit late, I feel, but for Stats, I mean, I guess prioritizing other stuff, such as making sure another Immortal and Stalker's already on the way up. It's kind of important too. Still back and forth between the players. We will see a Stalker getting picked down now. These Ravagers pushing these units back into a corner because of those corrosive Biles. Mothership core does not have energy for overcharge for a few more seconds. New Immortal joins the fray, full of health. Honestly, these Immortals have their shields coming back up as well, which is still awesome. Queen's at the front. One of them's going to go down here. Another nice pullback on the Stalker, but Immortal will die. And these other Immortals are in a little bit of trouble too. However, the Ravager count is disappearing, and actually the other Immortals survive. Barriers really coming through there and really kind of playing a huge role. Two more Ravagers morphing in towards the front. Roach, another one, goes down once again. Corrosive Bowels hitting onto the Immortal once more. We're just going to be seeing, well, another Immortal will go down. The Ravagers are just so deadly as they push on in. There isn't, oh no, the overcharge was used. This Immortal's in trouble. However, these units are very far forwards as a new Immortal comes down the ramp and will join the fray as CC Stats loses his Mothership core as well, though. Probes continue to drop, and we are going to see this Stalker and Immortal continue to be chased around here. Stats has to continue pulling back away now with this Immortal, and he is going to lose the low ground. He held it for a long... Well, is he going to lose the low ground, actually? Because at the end of the day, we actually don't have that many units left over here from Dark either. I actually thought the Nexus might get taken down, but obviously it's going to take a long time to do, with not very many units and no Corrosive Bowels left. Dark's actually running out of gas. He's only going to have 1-2 Ravagers morphing in right now. Give Stats time to get another couple Stalkers up, to get another Immortal out. Stats really is, overall, I think, stabilizing here. Another Immortal pops, and again, just consistent Immortal production at this stage. 3 Ravagers at the front, already getting poked by the Stalkers, though. You can see Stats feeling way more confident than previously, pushing so far forwards with these units. Gets rid of the Queen, another Ravager going down almost instantly. Some Lings will come in from the flank, though, and they will get us around. Stats will make the most of the situation, which is just going to be to target down the Roaches and the Ravager while he has this Immortal still in play. Honestly, you might just be able to kite away against these Zerglings forever anyways. Getting rid of the Roaches, though, really gets rid of so much of the momentum, I suppose, of this attack, as we're going to be seeing the Stalkers will now be able to just kite back against the Lings, and they do go down. Another immortal here as well, and Stats is just making more and more progress. Ling speed's about to kick in. This switch up into Lings might catch Stats a bit off guard. As you see 2 sentries coming down, force fields are placed. Ling speed's coming into play, but there's only 4 Zerglings left. It's not enough to do anything. Good force fields keep enough health on these units to keep them safe for now. And again, Stats just continue to build up here. And again, Dark is faltering. He is wavering. He is running out of momentum to continue pushing through into Stats' base and to make this work out. I like the Zerglings, the sudden change up, and the fact he was running out of gas anyways. Really is kind of a nice way to maybe try and just have one last ditched effort and maybe breaking Stats. But now I think it's very obvious that these units are just going to be way too much. These Ravagers, 3 of them, and he has 2 full health Immortals. No way is this going to work. I mean, another couple of Roaches come in, even that's not going to be enough. These Immortals are so good. And you can just see, they 3-shot Roaches. And now they push forwards this Queen as well. Still won't add much to it. Another few Lings on the way out, but 2 Immortals are just so good right now. As we see a nice transfuse from the Queen. That'll add something into this. It'll keep it alive a bit longer. Again, the Zerglings might be the victors against the Immortals. But in the long run, is he really still kind of turning out to be the victor? Stalkers continue to help out. This Immortal will probably go down. It does fall. But again, with all the Roaches and Ravagers being traded out, Stats is happy with this. He's got natural to fall back to eventually as well, even if they do keep trading evenly. And that's something Dark will not have at any point in this game, unless he tries to mine from over here. That would be kind of insane. Another Queen going to get picked off before it can build up the energy for transfuse, which could just about turn the tides of the battle. These Stalkers, they really want to just keep on fighting, though, and you can see it. As the Immortal comes forward, so you're going to see the Lings getting picked off again. And once more, another Ravager comes in, but just 1 Ravager this time. Surely it's not enough, as Dark loses it here. And his aggression has not worked out in the past 2 games. GG ... He cannot believe it, as Stats is going to take the series 2 games to 1.